Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data, and occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this demo video for the marketing campaign report. This spreadsheet is quite an advanced one for the basic range. It's quite simple to use if you follow the instructions, but it does quite a bit. What it does is it creates what we call query strings in order for you to personalize each link that you put on your different social media marketing campaigns, which then in turn will identify where the link, the clicks to your website came from. So let me just explain how the spreadsheet works, and that will show you what it achieves. First and foremost, I want to name the different channels. So as you can see, when I talk about channels, I mean email marketing, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, so on and so forth. Some of these are locked in. These top 6 are all locked in already. I try to keep the colors relevant to the platforms. But there are some others here, orange, light green. You can rename these whatever you want to name them. You can put your respective platform alongside the desired color, and then you'll have a complete list. If you leave any blank, that's fine. That's no problem. You don't have to use all of them, but we will have these first 6 available. Then what you need to do is put in what we call code. Now, what the code is really just the query string on the end of a link. So that when someone clicks on the link, Google Analytics will keep that query string so you can see where that particular click has come from. So when I say query string, I mean a string of text. Don't use the space in them. Don't use the question mark. Don't use the dash. Here you can see what not to use: question space, the question mark, the dash, or uppercase letters. Don't use any of those. Put the string in, obviously relevant to each channel. Don't have any duplicates, and as you can see, those have all come up as ticks because that's all correct. If I put in, for argument's sake, Twitter, and that, it's going to say no, you can't have that because it doesn't want the question mark. If I put in Twitter again, it's going to go no, you've got duplicates there. So you really just want to put in simple text so that you can identify each of these channels, no duplicates, and none of those codes. Once you've got all green ticks, you're good to go, and your spreadsheet has been set up. Then you want to move on to campaigns. Now, campaigns, you can do this however you want. If you want seasonal campaigns, if you want a campaign each month, whatever, you decide how often you want campaigns. I can't remember how many spaces I actually left for this. Yeah, 370. So I mean, you can basically do a campaign a day if you wanted to. Name the campaign. Obviously, you don't want to have duplicate names, so make sure you don't have any duplicate names. And then give the campaign a code. Now, the campaign code is the same situation as what we had before with the with the channels. This little tick here will just tell you whether everything's in order. You've got your campaign code, same story, and then a start date for the campaign code. Now the start date's fairly important because you want to make sure you got the right date, you got the right data, and you want to go back right to the start of the campaign. The end date's not vital. If you have a specific date when that ends and you want to stop taking data from that, you can put that in to make sure that you've got the exact data you need. But actually, you and I, we both know that you might have clicks on these links months afterwards. Someone might find your content scattered about somewhere and click on the link. So obviously the end date is not important. I usually just keep it right up until the current day. But your start date is quite important to put in, so at least we know how far back to collect the data. That's for each range. So you set the range of one. Sorry, they're not the range. The campaign. So I basically called the basic range and prime range. I just did two little sample campaigns where I put some social media posts out so I could collect some data and show you how it worked. Up here, put your website link in. This is where you want to send people to. Now, obviously, this may change. You might be sending people to different pages. You can change as you go along. The reason why you put that in is because then what you can do is you can then come and select the channel. If you click on there, you go drop down list of all your channels. They're in alphabetical order, so it doesn't matter which order you put them in the intro and setup. You can try and match up the colors as best you can. So if I want to post something now, for argument's sake, on LinkedIn, and then I say, which campaign is it for? And I say, well, actually, it's for the basic range. That's the website link that I want to send someone to. It takes all that information and it gives you, here is your link that where you want to send it. As you can see, spreadsheetsolutions.biz / MCR. That just means that it's monitored by this marketing campaign report. Dash basic range, which is what you've put in as your campaign code. Dash, that's why I said don't use the dash. Dash LinkedIn, which is what you put in for your LinkedIn code. Now that one still says Instagram, because what I need to do now is just select there, and now it will give me the LinkedIn one. The reason why I put this drop down list is the drop down list just shows you whatever's here, but the reason why I put it in, because now if I select that, I can actually come up here and it's easier to copy that text. So I copy that, and then I use that link here in my social media post when I'm posting on LinkedIn about the basic range campaign. I hope that makes sense so far, because that is how you set up your link. And now as I'm scheduling my social media, I can use that particular link in the social media on LinkedIn, and then when I move on to doing the Facebook, I can go, okay, now actually I'd like to see the Facebook link, please. Come down here, just select the Facebook link, and then up here I can go and copy the Facebook link and paste that into my Facebook social media. That's how it works. That's how you set up a campaign. That's how you then post on social media. Now we get to the next step. Once people have clicked on your website link. Now the whole reason for the spreadsheet, obviously we can't track as far as your sales and those kind of things concerned necessarily. So what we do is we base the success on the clicks to your website. So obviously what I personally want to know, and I'm sure we'll know what a lot of you guys want to know, is when you put social media content, how much of it is actually clicking back to your website? And this is what this monitors, because it's now going to check with your Google and marry up these query strings. So success is seen as clicks back to your website. That's what's seen as a success. And then obviously also bringing into consideration what the people do on your website once they're there. So let's take a look at how that works. We've got a Google Analytics data. Now this one I left up to 5,000 rows, and I'm going to show you how to get your data. Do have a look up here, because Google often change where things are located, and if they do, I will change this at the top here. But for the sake of this, I'm going to show you how to find this data. But bear in mind that the video may be wrong if Google changes. Do come and have a look at the instructions at the top. But here it says behavior, site content, all pages. So if I go to my Google Analytics and I go to behavior and I go to site content and then I go to all pages, it will bring up the graph of the site content. Now, I want to find the ones that I've used that particular query string. So that's why the query string starts with MCR. Let's go back and have a look. If we go to the campaigns, you can see that MCR. So what you do is you just come here and you say question mark MCR to filter. Now you filter your data, so now it's giving you just the ones that have got that code in, but now I want to go back again. So now what you can do is you can come here and you can have a look at when those codes started. Now I don't think that date's necessarily right for me, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, but if you would obviously have put accurate dates in here, so you want to make sure that you go back to the starting date. In fact, if you go to Google Analytics, it'll give you that range. You want to make sure you're starting on that date. I would start just before, just to make sure. So let's just say I go up to the top here and I say, well, I'm just going to say from the beginning of May, really, so 3rd of July, apply. Now it brings in obviously some more pages. There's not a lot here because I didn't do an awful lot to get this data. If I've got one of 6, I've got everything on one page. If you don't, just make sure that you come here and select. You can obviously select right down to 5,000 to get 5,000 rows, because that's as many as the spreadsheet will handle. It'll only put on the CSV file what you see on the screen. So make sure you come and select that 5,000. So you've got maximum number of rows. You've got the full date range, which means that this is now all the data. You've done the filter with the MCR. So this is now the data that you've got that relates to what you've set up on the spreadsheet. And then all you do is you come and you say export to CSV, the Excel SX. Open that. That will open up. Click Enable Editing so that your data becomes accessible. Don't copy the headers, just from here. You can highlight that, right click, copy. Have a look and make sure unique views, page views, average time, entrances, bounce rate. Yep, it looks like it's the same headers. And then you just come here, top one. I'm going to paste over the data, and you can go right click, paste values. Not normal paste. That will ruin your spreadsheet. Paste values, it'll keep the integrity of the spreadsheet, just bring across the data. Paste values. Okay, I actually added that one in afterwards so that it would add something to the spreadsheet, so don't worry about that. So there's your data. You bring your data in up to 5,000 lines. That will then have a look. It'll break these strings down, make sure it checks which one they belong to. As you do that, you'll find these cells here, average time, exit rate, all the rest will populate accordingly. So when you're setting it up, you're not going to have any numbers here. These will populate once you put the analytics data in. And then you can go to the report. Now the report will start off by being blank. What you can do is you can come and select up to 12 campaigns to compare. I didn't want to have all your campaigns on here if you're going to have hundreds of them. So you can select up to 12 campaigns. So if I say put the basic range and the prime range, you'll see, you can scroll down, you can see a comparison by channel. These are obviously clicks to the website. So you can see by channel which ones are actually getting, obviously by channel per campaign, which ones are more popular. You can scroll down, you can see for all your campaigns where are all of your links coming, where are all your clicks coming from. You can scroll down, you can see here per channel which channels are leading as far as clicks are concerned. You can even scroll down and you can see overall per channel based on selected campaigns. These are based on the campaigns that you selected, the 12 that you selected up at the top. This here is the same breakdown, but for all campaigns. So if you haven't all the other ones you haven't selected, you might find that of the 2 that you've selected, a load of your stuff's come from Facebook, but you might find Facebook only has a small percentage overall because you've selected all of them. These 2 graphs are the same. But if you've selected some and the other ones that you haven't selected, this will be an overall of all the campaigns selected or not. So that gives you a nice little bit of a breakdown as to which campaigns were successful on which social media platform, which then you can go back and you can obviously decide how you want to progress with the next campaign. But that will give you very good insight as to the success of each campaign, each platform, based on the clicks to your website. And I mean, obviously there are other tools out there that do this kind of thing in great detail, but if you want something very simple, which you can actually do yourself, then this would be it. So I hope that that's useful to you. I hope that you understand what I've been going on about here, because this one is slightly more complicated than the other basic range spreadsheets. But yeah, I wish you all the best with your marketing, and I hope you get more successful with the different campaigns. Thank you very much, and goodbye.